post up on social media a couple of days ago, and it ruffled a lot of people's
Yes, it
feathers.
did.
Surprisingly.
We got quite a few phone calls.
All it did was say the currencies that are worth more than the US dollar, meaning that their dollar is stronger than the US dollar.
Yeah.
And the number one currency was the Kuwaiti Dinar. Is one American dollar is equal to $3.2. And then the Bahraini Dinar is $1 to 2.6. And then the Omani
Omani Rial.
Rial 1 to 2.5. The Jordan Dinar 1 to 1.4. Pound sterling, which is the British pound, 1 to 1.2. The Gibraltar pound 1 to 1.2.4. The Cayman Island dollar 1 to 1.2. The euro is 1 to 1.1. And also, there wasn't enough room for the Swiss franc, which is also 1 to 1.1. So it's just nine countries who have stronger currencies than the US dollar. Now, this is an interesting conversation because people, not everybody, but a lot of people were upset about the post. They said it was like fear mongering and it was disappointing. And it's like you're championing the fall of America.
Let me say this. You guys asked for the information. And then when we give it, you get upset. So we can either give you the truth and let the truth settle, or we can lie to you. I choose not to lie.
I think the interesting part is like, maybe there's confusion, right? The fall of America.
Fall of America has been predicted for a long time, people. That's why you love Malcolm X.
Ray Dalio's books, he walked through the same thing. You can argue the number one hedge fund manager of all time has been saying this as well. If you've been awake the last 20 years, you can see, like, most countries plan their attack over 50 years very quietly. America is the only country on earth that screams, hey, we are coming to kill you. So if China went to Africa and got all the lithium mines, and they're going to go to attack Taiwan for that company, what do you think they plan to build? And if Elon goes there and they build that fucking supercomputer, you think they're doing that for play? No. When the Swiss franc got depegged in 2016 and it fell apart, they've been waiting for their moment as well. The Bahraini Dinar. Like, if you travel, this is why it's really key. Once again, I did not go to Mexico just because the beaches were pretty and so were some of the women. Hey, baby, I see you. I love you so much. Listen.
I love you.
Listen, you need an international edge. I don't want nobody to think I'm KP, you know what I'm saying? But you'll know.
Hey, real quick.
Come
on, man.
Do you think the uproar was because people are correlating the worth of the currency and comparing that to the strength of the economy, right? Right. I think that's the confusion, right? They think, oh wait, you're saying that because the currency is more, that's a stronger economy.
Well, we also got a certain level of education. This is why we're here, right?
Yes.
We have to educate the people. Because there's some countries that keep their currency low on purpose, like China, for import-export purposes. There's some countries that prefer to keep their currency higher for different reasons. So just because your currency, it's not. Well, first of all, is that you can't get emotional. That's the first thing. Like you can't be emotional.
I'm emotional. I hug the block.
You gotta like just
emotions don't change nothing.
Gotta take in the information because it's useful. Because it's like, okay, at the very least, if you're traveling to these countries, you should know how much your dollar is worth because it could either be beneficial or it could be harmful. If you're in Canada, it's beneficial because our dollar is stronger than the Canadian dollar. So that means our buying power is higher. Our buying power for just basic items like clothes, but also for real estate as well. But when you go to London, the dollar is weaker than the pound. So that means that their buying power is stronger than us for basic Burberry coats, but also for real estate as well, and a variety of other things. So you, as an intelligent person and as a world traveler, at the very least, you should be aware of where your native currency is strong and where your native currency is weak.
Yeah.
And there's more into the conversation, but it's not something to be upset about.
For educational purposes only.
Yeah.
Right? Like the information is what it is. Like it wasn't made up. These are real facts.
And
like,
Wealth, don't make a post next week.
they're gonna use ChatGPT to have the graphics and
Big
background
facts. They took all my little points about China and Russia and remixing. But look, we're 10th. We're not even in the play-in game. Austin Reeves not going to save us this season.
Game,
Neither will he save the Lakers. Like the euro has outpaced the Swiss franc, Cayman Island dollar. Like that's why I say. And remember, 2 years ago I was saying go study every country, top 5 governments, top 5 institutions to see what they're doing. If you don't think so, if Germany leaves the EU and teams up with Russia, because they were one of the 2 countries that was keeping the EU afloat. This BRICS thing has been planned for a long time. So if Germany gets mad and wants revenge on the United States of America as well, because that history is very troubled, then what? Frank is going to go with them. And for those of you who are saying, hey, well, Japan had a dominant run in the 80s and that didn't fare well for them. We put them into so much debt. Go read Confessions of an Economic Hitman to tell you why.
Can Germany go to war still? They got such a bad.
They can be an ally in a war.
They lost their military. They're like Japan. You know, that's one thing, though.
This is not a head-up war like we keep saying, though.
No, that's true. So this history is very important to understand. And after World War II, when Japan suffered the defeat, they crushed their military. They told Japan that they can't have a military for I forgot how many years. And so Japan has a very weak military even to this day. But what Japan did was they say, okay, we know that we can't have a military and we're kind of screwed on that situation and we're relatively a small island. They focused on technology.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They focused their attention on technology because they said, okay, being that you took our military away, how else can we compete in the global economy?
But who took their military away? Quiz question.
NATO.
Before then.
Before then. Well, that's what it happened. Is it not? Is that not what happened?
It was yes, but that was the nail in the coffin. Before then, the deal that they reached with Germany and Hitler led to that downfall. So Hitler made an agreement with them. If you let me have this portion of the country, I won't invade the rest. Hitler doesn't have the highest moral standing. What happened? Got part of that country, invaded, and took over the rest. And then later. This is why history is so important. We're the only country that does not look at 100-year cycles and see what our competitors are doing. How old is China? 50 years, 60 years to get revenge? That's nothing to them. And if you don't think they're not knocking on everyone's door and say, hey, come join my team. It's like the big 3, like when LeBron went and got D-Wade and Melo was supposed to go there. They're knocking on everybody's door. Because like China doesn't have to be number one. They just have to be center focused. So if they have all these spokes of protection in every country, they can beat us through a bunch of proxy wars.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop, bag drop.
Bag drop.